Welcome back to the Motivated Mind Zone. Glad to have you here. So today our mission, well, it's a bit like a masterclass in strategic language. We are diving deep into, let's call it the architecture of C1 English. Specifically, those crucial verbs that really lift your communication.
Right.
Taking you from just, getting by to sounding highly authoritative, really precise. We're thinking about language almost like an engineering tool.
That's a great way to put it, an engineering tool for nuance.
Exactly.
And for you listening, the goal isn't just memorizing a list of 35 words. It's more about understanding how these verbs work within complex sentences. They're like power tools.
Power tools, I like that.
Yeah, because they establish things like intent, cause, consequence.
Yeah.
Using them signals you're not just describing, you're analyzing. And that's, well, indispensable for high-level professional or academic work.
Okay, let's jump right in then. Let's unpack this with a couple of words that really show how context can just flip the meaning or at least the weight of a verb. First up, to opt.
Right, opt. It always means making a choice, fundamentally. But you need to watch the context, the stakes involved.
How so?
Well, in a low-stakes situation, it's simple. It's just personal preference. Think consumers opting for organic milk. Pretty light, right?
Yeah, straightforward choice, no big deal.
But now imagine that same verb in a boardroom setting. A big company, maybe facing, I don't know, serious supply chain problems. They might opt to delay a huge product launch.
Ah, okay, that feels completely different.
It is. It's not just preference anymore. It signals a calculated strategic decision. Maybe even a retreat made after weighing up all the options. It's much heavier than just saying they chose to delay.
It implies deliberation.
Serious deliberation. And then there's the administrative side. When you opt out of something, like a newsletter or a pension scheme.
Right, we see that all the time.
That's a formal withdrawal. It's often necessary for compliance, for legal stuff. That formal intent is the real C1 utility here.
That really clarifies the spectrum. Okay, let's take another one that twists like that.
Yeah.
To boast. Now, if I say my colleague is boasting.
Yeah, you immediately think arrogance, right? Probably bragging about a promotion, annoying everyone.
Exactly. That's the default, the personal context. It usually sounds negative.
It does. But here's the C1 twist, and this is where advanced learners really need to pay attention. In a professional setting, like marketing copy or technical specs, that negative feeling, it just evaporates.
So you read that a new phone boasts a better camera, or company boasts great employee benefits.
Precisely. In those contexts, boast is entirely positive. It's basically a synonym for features or highlights or is proud to offer. It signals quality, confidence.
So recognizing that switch arrogance in personal talk, quality signal in professional talk, that's key.
Absolutely key. Context dictates everything. It's the difference between sounding naive and sounding sophisticated.
Context is king. Okay, that sets us up nicely for our next group, verbs that formalize actions. Capturing commitment, authority, maybe ambition. Let's start with the pledge. Why not just say promise?
Good question. Pledge adds layers. It adds gravity, seriousness, and crucially, public accountability. A promise. Well, promises can be a bit flimsy sometimes.
Sure.
A pledge feels more binding, almost quasi-contractual. It's often public, maybe recorded. Think of big donors pledging millions to a university research fund. That's a serious, documented commitment.
It definitely raises the stakes. You see it in really formal settings like wedding vows, pledging love and all that, or politicians pledging reforms.
Exactly. And that high bar is the point. When someone fails to honor a pledge, especially in public life, it really highlights the hypocrisy. It's a built-in accountability mechanism.
Okay, so from that weighty commitment to something more like an official declaration, we have to proclaim, this one sounds very authoritative.
It is. It's about making something public, official, and undeniable, unequivocal. Think historically like a king proclaiming a new law or a national holiday.
Right. Old school authority.
But it's still relevant. Today, a judge proclaims a verdict. That signals finality, the force of law kicking in immediately.
And activists use it too, right? I've heard that, like proclaiming their demands at a protest.
It's not just shouting, it's a forceful announcement. It demands public attention, recognition. It invests their statement with significance.
Interesting. Okay, so we've done public commitments. Let's turn inward a bit to internal drive. To aspire.
Ah, yes. Very relevant for anyone aiming for C1 level, actually.
How so?
Well, aspire captures that striving, setting high goals, often long-term ones, reaching for excellence.
Like an athlete aspiring to win gold at the Olympics.
Exactly. Or maybe an artist aspiring to evoke a very specific, complex emotion in their audience. It highlights that deliberate, motivating purpose behind the effort.
So framing C1 proficiency itself as an aspiration.
Precisely. It helps put the, let's face it, pretty intense effort required into perspective. It's not just a task. It's a worthy goal you're striving towards.
Perfect. Okay, let's shift gears completely now. Let's talk mechanics. Administration, processes, verbs for starting, stopping, keeping things going. How about to initiate and to resume?
Right. Initiate is the formal start, kicking off something significant, often where nothing quite like it existed before. It implies a formal launch, some preparation.
Like a CEO initiating a major company restructuring, or scientists initiating a complex experiment.
Exactly. That 0 to 1 moment, as you put it earlier. Now, if initiate is starting from scratch,
Then resume is just hitting play again after a pause.
pretty much. It's about returning to an existing plan or structure after some kind of interruption, whether planned or unplanned. Classes resume after the holidays, a meeting resume after a coffee break.
So it signals getting back on track, returning to the known structure.
Exactly, a return to order.
Okay, what about the life cycle of things, like contracts or memberships? We've got to renew and to expire.
The classic pair. We all deal with the practical side. You have to renew your passport before it expires. Standard compliance stuff.
Right, deadlines.
But renew can be used more metaphorically at this level, which is quite powerful. A company might talk about renewing its brand image.
Like a complete strategic refresh, not just extending a date.
Exactly. A strategic overhaul to stay relevant. And expire. It carries that sense of legal finality.
You mean?
Meaning when a contract or a warranty expires, it's void, finished. You lose the rights or benefits tied to it. It clearly defines that time boundary.
Got it. And for stopping things more abruptly, we have to halt.
Yes, halt suggests complete stop, often forced or at least very deliberate. An arrest of motion or progress. It feels like an intervention.
So it's stronger than just stop.
Definitely. Think of construction work being halted because of sudden bad weather or new regulations. Or a factory deliberately halting production because they found a safety defect.
Or police halting a speeding car. Decisive intervention.
Much more decisive, yes.
Okay, let's trace things back now. Causation. Where do things come from? We have a really important C1 pair here. To originate and to stem. How do we reliably tell these apart?
This distinction is pure gold for analysis. To originate traces something back to its specific starting point. The birth point, really, in time or maybe location.
Like saying a particular tradition originated in ancient Greece. The literal beginning.
Exactly. The genesis, the starting line. Now, contrast that with to stem. Stem focuses more on the ongoing causal link, derivation. It connects a current situation back to its root cause, which might be more conceptual or systemic.
Okay. Give me an example.
Well, you might say someone's lack of confidence stems from negative experiences early in their career. It's not the single birth point, but the ongoing source or reason.
I see. So originate for the specific spark, the first moment, and stem for the continuous influence, the feeder cause, like maybe economic problems stem from poor policy decisions over years.
That's a perfect way to think about it. It's a really useful rule of thumb. Originate for the birth point, stem for the ongoing link.
Got it. And once a cause is active, we often look for how it becomes visible. That brings us to manifest, right?
Yes. Manifest is about something internal. A quality, a feeling, maybe an illness, or even the effects of a policy becoming clearly visible externally, often gradually.
So we talk about symptoms of an illness manifesting, or perhaps musical talent manifesting itself at a young age.
Exactly. It implies that this underlying thing has emerged, naturally or inevitably, and is now observable, undeniable. In business, you might wait for the positive effects of a new strategy to manifest in the quarterly results.
Right. It provides the visible proof.
Precisely. Observable evidence.
Excellent. Okay, structure, how things fit together, verbs we need for building complex arguments, businesses, academic theories. First up, to constitute.
Constitute means being the essential parts, the necessary components that make up the whole. If you remove them, the whole thing falls apart or isn't complete.
So, like saying these three principles constitute the core of the philosophy.
Exactly. Or volunteers constitute the backbone of this charity. Without them, no backbone. It defines the required elements.
Okay, so once you have the parts, they need to work together.
Right. Which leads us to coordinate and to complement. Coordinate is mostly about logistics, making sure different people or parts are working together smoothly, in sync, like coordinating international shipments or complex team schedules.
Practical stuff. And to complement, and you stress the spelling,
Okay.
C-E-M-E-N-T?
C-E-M-E-N-T. No, C-O-M-T-L-E-M-E-N-T.
Oh, right, sorry. C-O-M-P-L-E-M-E-N-T. Complement. My mistake.
No problem. Easy slip. Yes, complement with an E. This one's about quality enhancement, making something else better, improving the whole. Your analytical skills might complement your creative flair, or a certain wine complements a particular cheese.
Ah, okay. Enhancing the whole.
And getting that E versus I spelling right, complement versus complement, is absolutely crucial at C1. One enhances, the other praises, mix them up, and the meaning totally changes.
Critical detail. Noted. Okay, alignment next. Coincide and correspond.
Right. Coincide is mostly about time or space. Things happening at the same time, or being in the same place. The big music festival coincides with the public holiday weekend.
Or maybe two project deadlines coinciding in the same stressful week.
Exactly. That kind of overlap. Correspond, on the other hand, is more about matching up. Verification. Agreement between different pieces of information or accounts.
So, checking if the survey results correspond to the initial hypothesis, or if witness statements correspond with each other.
Precisely. Ensuring things match, that they agree. It implies verification.
Makes sense. And finally, in this section, strategic strengthening. To consolidate.
Yeah, consolidate is about combining different things, maybe resources, debts, departments, even learning to make them stronger, more efficient, or easier to manage.
Like a business consolidating several small teams into one larger streamlined department.
Or an individual consolidating various debts into a single loan for easier management. Or even an athlete consolidating their recent performance gains before the next competition.
So it's about strengthening through combination and efficiency.
Yes, it signals a strategic move, not just simple joining.
Okay, great. Let's pivot again. Hardship, struggle, but also policy and making things happen. Let's start with some negative impacts. To suppress, to deprive, and to displace.
Okay. Suppress involves stopping something, usually using force or authority. Holding back an activity or feeling, a government might try to suppress protests. Or medication might suppress a cough.
So the thing being suppressed is still there, just being held down.
Often, yes, it implies active containment. Now, to deprive is different. It's about withholding something essential. Necessities, rights, opportunities leading to harm or lack.
Like poverty depriving children of a fair chance at education. Or sleep deprivation harming health. It's about taking away something fundamental.
Exactly, stripping away necessities. And to displace? That's about forced movement, usually due to big negative events.
Like war displacing millions of people, making them refugees. Or a natural disaster displacing entire communities.
Yes. The force is external, often catastrophic, causing people to leave their homes or original positions. It can also be used for controversial development projects displacing residents.
Okay, tough verbs. Now, coping mechanisms. To ease and to endure.
Right. Ease is active. It's about reducing the severity of something negative, making it less intense. Medicine, easing pain. Deep breathing, easing anxiety. Diplomatic talks aimed at easing international tensions.
So actively trying to lessen the burden.
Yes. Whereas to endure is more about resilience, tolerating bearing something difficult, often over time, maybe for a longer-term goal or simply because you have to.
Like enduring a long, difficult commute every day. Or materials specifically designed to endure extreme weather conditions.
Exactly. It speaks to necessary persistence, durability against pressure or hardship.
Right. Now for the positive side, making policy, encouraging growth. Let's talk to enact. This sounds very official.
It is. Enact is strongly, almost exclusively tied to lawmaking. It's the formal process of turning a proposal, a bill, into an official, binding law or rule.
So, Parliament enacts legislation. Governments enact emergency measures. It carries the full weight of law.
Absolutely. The stamp of legal authority.
And the scope or reach of that law, or maybe a plan, is covered by to encompass.
Yes. Encompass defines scope, breadth. It suggests comprehensiveness, including a wide range. A good history course should encompass social, economic, and political factors, not just battles.
So, making sure everything relevant is included.
Suggesting thoroughness, yes.
Okay, finally in this group, verbs of growth. To foster and To facilitate. Another great C1 distinction, I think.
Definitely. Foster is about nurturing, encouraging growth over time, actively creating the right conditions for something positive to develop, like parents fostering creativity in their children, or policies designed to foster innovation in tech startups. It implies patience, support.
Okay, nurturing over time. And to facilitate.
Facilitate is more about enabling, making a process easier, smoother, often by removing obstacles or providing tools. Technology facilitates remote collaboration. A good moderator facilitates a productive discussion.
So facilitate removes the barriers, makes it possible or easier.
And foster helps it grow well within that enabled space.
Got it. That contrast is really helpful.
It's key for precision.
Okay, we are into our final section. This one's about risk, impact, and eventually decline. Let's look at taking on risk or consequence first. To incur versus to venture.
Right. To incur is usually about passive liability. You bring costs, expenses, penalties upon yourself, often as an unavoidable consequence of something you did or didn't do.
Like, if you pay a bill late, you incur a late fee. You didn't actively choose the fee, but your action triggered it.
Exactly. Or a company that ignores safety regulations might incur heavy fines. You become liable for the negative consequence. It happens to you because of your actions.
Okay, passive consequence. So to venture must be the active side.
Precisely. Venture is intentionally putting something valuable. Could be money, reputation, even safety at risk, hoping for a potential gain. Think venture capitalists venturing millions on risky startups.
Or scientists venturing their reputation on a controversial new theory. It implies boldness, taking a calculated gamble.
Yes, active, intentional risk-taking.
Okay, next. To indulge. This one often sounds nice, doesn't it? Indulging in a chocolate cake or a spa day.
It can sound nice, but the C1 nuance often carries a subtle warning, especially when it's about habits or tendencies. A warning against excess.
How so?
Well, you might talk about someone indulging a tendency to procrastinate, or indulging in excessive spending. The word subtly hints that this pleasure or allowance might have negative consequences if overdone. Lack of discipline.
The hidden cost of enjoyment. Got it. And then the ultimate negative act within a group. To double-cross.
Yeah, this one's pure betrayal. It implies deceit within a shared plan or partnership, secretly undermining people you're supposed to be working with.
Classic spy thriller stuff. Or maybe ruthless business partners double-crossing each other in a deal.
Exactly. It's the violation of trust within an agreed setup.
Okay, let's talk impact again. To evoke versus to hail.
Right. To evoke is about triggering an internal response. An emotion, a memory, a feeling. A particular smell might evoke childhood memories. A piece of music evokes sadness or joy.
So it calls something forth from within the person.
Yes, often quite powerfully and personally. To hail, on the other hand, is external. It's about public praise, enthusiastic acclaim.
Like critics hailing a new film as a masterpiece. Or experts hailing a scientific breakthrough.
Exactly. Widespread, positive, public recognition. High regard.
Makes sense. And our final verb, number 35, takes us to the opposite of growth, to decay.
Yes, decay. The basic meaning is gradual destruction or deterioration, usually through natural processes like wood decaying, but the C1 usage is often metaphorical and very powerful.
How is it used metaphorically?
You might talk about relationships decaying if communication breaks down, or trust decaying between nations, or even public institutions or infrastructure decaying due to neglect and lack of funding.
Wow. So it describes the slow, gradual breakdown of abstract things too.
Yes, and it carries a strong sense of decline and neglect. A really potent word for analysis.
Incredible. We have covered a huge amount of ground there. 35 really powerful verbs, from passively incurring costs to actively fostering growth.
And the key takeaway, really the essential point for you listening, is that mastering these verbs gives you the power to articulate things with much greater precision and weight. You move beyond simple description into sophisticated analysis.
Right.
You can now talk about how a problem stems from a specific cause, not just that it came from it, or how costs might be incurred rather than just saying, we had to pay. It transforms your language from purely transactional to something far more analytical and authoritative.
That's absolutely the goal of this deep dive. So building on that, here's a challenge for you for the week ahead. To really make these stick, try to consciously enact, there's one of our words, try to enact one of these verbs in your own life, professional or personal.
Yeah, great idea. For instance, don't just try to organize a complex family dinner. Instead, consciously coordinate it. Focus on the logistics, the timing, the different parts working together.
Or maybe, instead of just working on learning a new software at work, think about how you can actively foster that skill. What conditions do you need? What resources? How can you encourage its growth over time?
Exactly. Using the specific C1 verb forces you to think about the task differently. It pushes you towards that higher level of intent and strategy we've been talking about.
And that mental shift is how these words stop being just vocabulary lists and become real tools in your communication toolkit.
Absolutely. It's the best way to embed them, to make them part of your active C1 mindset.
We really hope this deep dive has given you some indispensable tools for tackling complexity in English. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time on the Motivated Mind Zone.